and welcome to Kusile Breakfast Show. Sevilishani Parliamentary sanivusela sanemukela lapho nobukela khona umsakazo Eswatini TV. My name is Lungelele Makakwela. Good morning and welcome. It is the 7th of November 2023. I'm with my co-host Umguni. How do you do this morning, Sfiso?
Ngiphilile mfombe manje ngiphonse emehlo lapha kulesimo selitulu ngikhanza ama temperatures atawugcina 26 inhliziyo yami ayijabuli kahle ngabe ngithi ngidalicoba khalo kumislidile wathi kutaba ngi22 degrees Celsius ngase ngithi khanza ngigcoke nami amasudu ebelungu now, but I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good. Shothi usatawa gcokela amasudu ngoba nakusasa nangibuka namsimo selitulu kwangathi ama temperatures ayaqhubeka ayehla. Yeah, the highest nje kutaba ku19 la eMpabane, so kwangathi kutaba makhata nje the rest of the week.
Kutaba liviki lelibhanji leli besilicobile kodwa iviki indeliphelile cishe nje liviki lonke so ngidududota ngaloko, but anyway ngolelo muhle sivusele sikwamukele Kusile Breakfast Show. It is indeed a Tuesday morning, a beautiful one at that. It's going to be a beautiful program as well. We'll be talking to the Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program. Stabe sikhulumisana ke kulandzela ukuthi sokuphela inyanga letitsi kuba tinzathu since le program lebitwa ngeSwatini Youth Empowerment Program ya place bantwana labange around 200 unemployed graduates in 46 organizations across government institutions, parastatals, United Nations agencies, SMEs, as well as NGOs. Now, for 6 months, these graduates will gain skills and experience while earning a monthly stipend. We want to talk to UNDP's Advocacy Associate, Sakile Shabangu, as well as Mr. Benedict Klaba, who is a clerk to Parliament. Following Gutsige, Kunema students la placed corner a Parliament la around 20. We want to speak about what this experience means for the government as well as for the students. We will also have one of the interns, Loy graduate intern at Biolab Eswatini, who goes by the name Nomcebo Mazibuga, about her experience under the program. It is a great program which has been hailed by even the King himself at the United Nations General Assembly as one of the most important projects in the country, helping to curb the high unemployment rate. We've also seen some of the outgoing ministers talking about this project in international trips, just to show the significance and importance of this project. We will speak to it in detail. Kakulu na Sakile Shabang, who is the United Nations Development Program Advocacy Associate.
All right, so we'll also be joined by the National Country Director of the 1 Billion Rising Campaign, Kolani Hlachago. On the show the past few weeks, kusukela nje kwaqala lona likhetho besibuka dona nje tinzaba nje advocate la ukuthi kukhethwa bomake ukuthi kungene bomake labanenge eParliament. Sibabonile ke bangena nje manje likhethweni loludlulile 8 bomake bakhethiwe bangena eParliament, kanti ke na 4 wabese ukhethwa ngisosilo ngosomsado wesithathu bese ukuthi 5 were nominated and elected ukuthi bangene khona eParliament. Simbonile kana 8 naye lo appointwe ngisosilo semhlaba. Sitha besikhulumisana nje naXolani kuva ukuthi ngabe bona bangiwo lo mkhankaso ngabe tindzaba leti baphatha njani leti njengoba silakhumula ukuthi nemthetho sekela nje evete indzaba yibomcoka ukuthi at least 30% wabomake bayangena eParliament noma sengafiki kulo 30%. Kepha ke inombolo leti ikhomba ukuthi 25 abomake bangenile eParliament. Sifuna ukukhulumisana naye eXolani kuva nje ukuthi ngabe vele mhlambe le mikhankaso bebesolo bayichuba engabe vele mhlambe basithe kanganani ngokuthi indzaba yabomake vele ikhulunyiswa kakhulu sebabone bangena eParliament. Sabe sayela mhla ekseni nga 6:30 kumanje asibuke ihloko letha mayimbili kumaphepha ndzaba. Asicela sibuke i-Times of Eswatini lomhla ekseni. Kanti kuleti ihamba embili after PM Russell swearing in, some MPs plead for forgiveness and campaign. Let bygones be bygones. Ngekusho MP welcome, and some hope young PM will consider young MPs for government positions. Kuletinye thamba imbili 60,000 amalangeni lifetime salary, 3 million amalangeni house for Cleopas. Kuletinye lethamba imbili job losses as 4 pharmacists apply for liquidation. Kuletinye lethamba imbili mob abducts, assault and kills man.
Kutemidlalo Times of Eswatini lomhla ekuseni ahead of next week's FIFA World Cup qualified goalkeeper crisis at Sihlangu following ukuthi Mbabane Highlanders goalkeeper Kanyagwezwe Shabalala is being stretched off the pitch. Kunasisithombe nasiya, his injury might be a blow for Sihlangu in their quest to qualify for the World Cup. Kanti kulenye short stepper Kanyagwezwe doubtful for Libya clash due to ankle injury. It's a continuation of the very same story. Lenye ke lihamba embili ithi Bull Pirates in hot soup. Elite league sides Mbabane Highlanders and Moneni Pirates action might attract the wrath of the Eswatini Football Association Disciplinary Committee. Kulenye lihamba embili new Prime Minister to lead Shuguma. The Eswatini Sports and Recreation Council has congratulated Prime Minister Russell Dlamini following his appointment by His Majesty King Mswati III. Kanti-ke yekugcina comes from South Africa, where Siya Kolisi thanks South Africa for support following their victory at Rugby World Cup.
Asgena sibuka Eswatini Daily News this Tuesday. Kuleti hamba imbili Prime Minister Russell Dlamini, 30 senators take oath of office. More on page 23. Kulenye letinye hamba imbili former Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister's handsome perks for entire lives. Kanti kuletinye leti hamba imbili previous woman farmer winner encourages women youth to participate.
Yeah, still the leading headline, even on it, Eswatini Daily News, the big blow on Sihlangu is Kanyagwezwe is doubtful for World Cup qualifiers. Shabalala picks up an ankle injury less than 2 weeks before the national team begins 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Cape Verde and Libya. On another one, passion is key to football career. Full story is found on page 23, and it speaks to Wanda Nhlego's illustrious career after being honored by his former team, Mbabane Swallows. On another one, Verstappen officially the most dominant Formula 1.
All right, it's 7 minutes after 6. Tabahlwete magetse Spain etinzabata Swati.
Umsakazo wetithombe iEswatini TV utibophelele kuhlonipha nekulandzela umgomo wetekusakata loweluswe libandla letekuchumana eveni.
Ngephansi kwalomgomo sitimisele kusakata tindzaba letenteka ngaleso sikhatsi, tindzaba letide magama laqosheme, letitsembekile, letitsintsa tonke tinhlangothi naletisebaleni.
Kusukela kutepolitiki, tetemphilo, tekulima, tetinkantolo netemhlaba wonke jikelele siniletsela tindzaba njengoba tinjalo ngaleso sikhatsi letenteka ngaso.
Kanzi kulomsakato siphindze sikulethele lonke luhlobo lwetemidlalo kusuka emidlalweni welibhola letinyawo kuye emidlalweni ledlalelwa ematafuleni kanye naleto letiqhamuka ngaphandle kwakuleli.
Leti tindzaba lowutiletselwa ngumsakazo wetithombe iEswatini TV.
Kolomhla siphindze sikwamukele ehlelweni imizuzu imfica kubumbene insimbi yesithupha kulesikhatsanyalo sidawubuka tindzabata lapha ekhaya. Sowufungile wabali ilunga lendlu yabayesikhulu ngalokusemthethweni indvunankulu Russell Miso Dlamini. Dlamini ufungiswe ingcweti yetemtsetfo Sifiso Khumalo ngemsombuluko ekuseni. Nkosi sicela ukuxolisa ngekuphambana kwetinsambo lapho kodwa nje sifuna kubuka na indzaba lesichubeka nayo yabo makela sebasendlini yeParliament.
Appointment enkosi ku-appoint abo ama-members of Senate sibonile ukuthi ulandzela umthetho-sisekelo lo usho ukuthi nakukhethwa impunga at least kufuna abomake babe ngu-8 which inkosi iwulandzelele kusho wena kusho ku-leader by example nokuyinto yokuthi nasithi let's have more women in parliament asimbone akwenda njengaloko i-constitution isho and lokho-ke kukundela nalabanye ukuthi bakhona ukuthi bawulandele umthetho-sisekelo nalokusho nje ukuthi kule parliament lena as much as singakafiki kule quarter yabomake esiphethe constitution phinde futhi singaka-adhere to SADC nekhuluma ukuthi asibe na equal representation but we are seeing improvement on women's participation.
Kuthekeleke nasekukhethwa futhi njalo la malunga njengoba ubeka etindlu totimbili inkosi yasifakela bomake siyabonga kusosilo ingwenyama Mswati wesithathu asathi ukuthi singathini sibomake bakangwane njengoba kuyabonakala ukuthi ligalelo lakhe wekunene silo semhlaba libe likhulu njengoba nasemaganweni wagcizelela ukuthi asisukume silithango sabona ke singilo libandla lethango ukuthi asukume vele
Inhlangano le ngamele inhlangano tebantfu labakhubatekile kuleli ifotswa ithi inkosi Mswati wesithathu seyiphose insaya esiveni seMaswati ekutheni siqinisekise ukuthi bantfu labakhubatekile baba ingcenye yemabandla lasukunyiselwa ukuthuthukisa inhlangothi letahlukene eveni lokuke kushiwo ngubongani Magama longumengameli walenhlangano ngesikhathi yakhuta lwandle enkosini Mswati wesithathu ngekubulala makelo okhubatekile eStuki Motha ekutheni abe imphunga eParliament el-12.
Etinkulumeni letihlukene letethulena iphefumulela umhlaba kusukela live leSwatini lisalungiselela kuya elikhethweni nangesikhathi lesisemuva inkosi Mswati wesithathu beyigcizelela kumeleleka kahle kwadotonke tinhlangothi tebantu kude live litoba nentuthuko lekhosako. Ingonyama ivele yayikhomba indlela nayibulala makelo nelibala kuthi abe lilunga lendlu yetimphunga lekusento lesithabelwe nabantu labakhubatekile. Bongani Magama lo wengamele inhlangano ifotswa uyachaza
sikhuzana bayethe kuloku sikhuzwa lwandle kakhulu siyabonga kokuthi njengoba sowushilo ukuthi emva kweminyaka lemithe kude umuntu lo nelibala abonakala eParliament ngetulu kwaloko siyakuqala kokuthi listini lebuya khona engwenyameni kube khona umuntu lokhubatekile kuyidinwa ke letishokotisako kakhulu lokho siphindze ke siya ku recognize naloko ukuthi ungimake lo longenile
make Stuki Motha utibekele kanjena
siqoqele bayethu lengakusho ukuthi bayethe wena waphakathi tindzaba lengidoti gijimisa ngiledoda enhlala kahle yebantfu labasha bomake kanye nalabakhubatekile.
Umbiko wetelibalo lwelive leSwatini weminyaka wa 2017 uthi abantu labakhubatekile kuleli bangetulu kwetinkulungwane letilikhulu nemashumi nesithupha etindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Mbongwa Dube Fortune Dlangamandla naThemba Shabangu Embabane.
Mapalane lomkhulu etiko letebuchwephesha phesheya Dube uthi umgomo losacolwa wekugcina lwati lwemdzabo iEswatini Indigenous Knowledge Systems Policy utawusita eluhambeni lelive lekugcina nekuvuna umcebo lonothile welwati lwemdzabo lolukhona kuleli. Dube ke ukusho lokhu ngesikhathi libandla la7 laseNingizimu Afrika lelibuke kwakha imitsetfo lelivela enhlangothini leTep Science netebuchwephesha likuleli tolekelela ekwakheni umgomo wekugcina lwati lwemdzabo.
Akhuluma kulomhlangano mapalane lomkhulu etiko letebuchwephesha phesheya Dube uthi lomgomo utawusita kugcina lwati letintukulwane letahlukahlukene.
This policy will serve as a guiding framework to ensure the protection, preservation and promotion of indigenous knowledge, whilst also fostering its integration into mainstream education, research and innovation. We must work together to compile and document this wealth of knowledge, ensuring its accessibility for future generations.
Umphathi wesifundza sakaManzini sikhulu Gija sithi atibuye emasisweni emaswati akatati ukuthi abobani uthi lo mgomo lo utawusita kulondvolota abuswati.
We've lost a lot of things that identifies us. We lost our traditions, especially through the introduction of Christianity, where it looked like we didn't know God, yet we knew God. Maybe they brought a different way and we ended up losing our traditions and culture.
Umcondzisi ebandleni lelibuye eveni laseNingizimu Afrika lelikuleli kutosita kwakhe umgomo wokugcina lwati uthi umgomo lofana nalo utawusita kakhulu.
Primary objective of the IKS policy is the protection, development, management, and the focus of this meeting is more on the protection of indigenous knowledge.
Sewesibili lo mhlangano wokulungisa imigomo wokugcina lwati lwemitsabo kuleli etindzabeni kubika Fortune Dlangamandla. Mina Mbonga Dube sisenokwane.
Live laseswatini libongelwe baholi bemave enhlangano yemave lasendance nelive kati le-Afrika iSADC ngekuchuba lukhetfo lolukhululekile. Nekusho-ke kwamabhalane lomkhulu etiko letekuhlela nekutfutfukisa umnotfo wathapsile emlangeni. Umhlangano webaholi bemave bewuwekudzingidza indzaba yebudlwangudlwangu lobukhona eveni le-Democratic Republic of Congo. Mlangeni bekakhuluma nakachaza ngetincumo letitsetfwe kulo mhlangano obewubanjelwe eveni le-Angola.
Ingqikithi lenkulu bokukhulumisa indzaba yesimo lesikhona eveni lase-Democratic Republic of Congo, lapho kunemsindvo khona kunekulwa lokuthite on the eastern part of the country, lesokuphatamisa nelukhetfo lolutako live laseCongo litabe liselukhethweni kungakapheli lo mnyaka. Emave akaSADC-ke uma kunetimo leti kanjalo ayaye abambisane alekelelane. Sikubonile kwenteka lokho eveni laseMozambique alekelelana ngekuthi asitane ngekuthi kube nebantfu labayobambisa lelo live lelo. Lokunye lokukhulunyiwe emhlanganweni kube ku-update abaholi ngekuthi emavela ngamalunga aSADC lebeka nelikhetfo ahambe njani. Lithunyiswe kakhulu live laseswatini ngekubamba lukhetfo ngempumelelo, lukhetfo lolunekuthula, lukhetfo lolwende ukuthi wonke umuntu akhone kukhetha labathi free and fair elections. Umbiko ngilomuhle kakhulu ngelive laKangwane ukuthi lukhetfo lubanjwe kahle lwaba impumelelo. Nelive laseZimbabwe-ke nalo lithunyisiwe lokho ukuthi lukhetfo nalo lilibambe ngempumelelo. Endzabeni yesikhwama emave akaSADC atibophelele ukuthi ngilelo live kutaba khona leli kufaka kwaphindze futhi-ke kwakhulunyiswa nendzaba yokuthi nangaphandle kwaSADC kutaba khona lusito lolucelwako kubomhlaba kuhlangene, lusito lolucelwako nabo-African Union.
Live laKangwane kulomnyaka litfole sivuno lesingu-86,000 metric tons embila. Kanti-ke live litsinga 140,000 metric tons. Ngaleso sizathu-ke litiko letekulima lihlela kufundzisa abalimi labaselibonjeni ngetindlela tekukhicita kudla noma kunetinkinga tekugucugucuka kwesimo selitulu. Umcondzisi wetekulima Nelson Mavuso uthi lisuku lwekugubha i-World Food Day litawubanjwa esithobelweni ngalesibili njengoba indzawo levame kuhlaselwa somiso.
Silitiko siye sibuke tindzawo letivamisa ukuthi tihlaselwe ukuthi tibete i-food security as a result of environment yabo. Ikakhulu tindzawo letitsandwa ukuthi tiyomisa, titemandi, bantu bakhona baya strugglisha usustain impilo yabo. So lo nyaka-ke i-World Food Day siyoyi-commemorate la eSithobelweni as a drought prone area. Itheme yalo nyaka ithi water is life, water is food, leave no one behind. Lokho kusho ukuthi emanti amcoka, emanti asiwasebenzise kahle ngoba emanti aphinze abe ingredient lemcoka kakhulu ku satisfy food security. Emanti amcoka for our health. Emanti asimcoka noma sesiprocessa kudla. Silive sikhanza abantu labanengi bagula because baphila under unsanitary conditions. So siyokhutha daloko kakhulu. Ngaleli suku leli ke kuye kufike kubukwe tindvo bantu lebatiphilisa ngabe ma livelihood projects lebasebenzisa wona to address food security baphindze basebenzise wona lawo ma projects kuze sibato earn income. Njengoba nathi ukuthi sithobela si remote emigwaco yakhona isiyole kahle bantu bakhona bakhashane nemadolobha. Siyobuka ukuthi batiphilisa ngani.
Kutemidlalo umceceshi welicembu leMoneni Pirates iCobot Masocha uthi kungadlali kahle kwelicembu sekube nemthelela lomubi etingcondweni tawo wonke umuntu losebenta kuleli cembu lokwenta ukuthi sale bacela abaphathi baleli cembu babalethele umuntu loweluleka ngekwengcondo. Masocha bekakhuluma ngemuva kwekuthi ilicembu leMoneni Pirates likhale phansi ngibabane Highlanders ngamagoli 2 kulinye kulemphela sonto lesibuya kuyo.
Nakukhulunywa ngamacembu lamakhulu kuleli igama leMoneni Pirates alisali nalo njengoba linemlando ebholeni yetinyawo yakuleli kanye nebalandzeli lelinabo. Kulomnyaka losetulu team kade lihambeli kahle leli cembu njengoba ngemuva komdlalo lesikhombisa lineliphuzu linye kanzi liphindze lakhala phasi kumbabane Highlanders kulembela somva ngamagoli 2 kulinye.
I've just seen, in the last 2 days, it's now very evident, it's now damaging everyone. It's not only the boys, but everyone in the club. We have a big challenge now. It needs a collective, agreement. We need to come together, sit down and positively identify the areas that we need to correct. It's not like we don't know the areas that we need to correct, but unfortunately we're not brave enough to come in the open and face the challenges as they come in.
Kanzi Mhlonishwa Motsa longulomunye wabaphathi kuleli cembu phecelezi Chief Executive Officer nasikhulumisana naye ngelicingo vetile ukuthi tinkinga labanato bayadilungisa ngekucala kokuletha lo lotawululeka ngekwengcondvo phecelezi psychologist. Motsa uphindze waveta ukuthi angeke baze bashintshe abaceceshi baleli cembu futhi ke konke kungaboni ngalusolinye lokuke kwaba khona sabakucatululile. iMoneni Pirates umdlalo lulandzelako itawudlala neMbabane Swallows. Lobikela umsakati Eswatini TV kutemidlalo ngilinda Dlamini eMbabane.
Thobile Bhembe longusihlalo welibandla lelidlalisa umdlalo wenetball esifundzeni sakaHhohho uthe amacembu ladlala ngaphansi kwalesifundza akhomba kwenyusa lizinga ladlala ngawo ikakhulukati lawo lafikako kule midlalo. Bhembe bekakhuluma nakuchubeka imidlalo yesibili yamacembu langaphansi kwesifundza sakaHhohho eCoronation Park eMbabane.
Kulembela somva ichubekile imidlalo yenetball liyatiwa ngele SBS Hoho Regional League ngaphasi kwesigodi saseMbabane. Emacembu langaphasi kwesigodi asiphohlongo kanzi amacembu lamasha 2 kodwa ke noma kukhona amacembu lamasha lizinga likhomba kwenyuka.
Lizinga la Hoho lisetulu kakhulu ngoba kulama teams lang 8 i-competition isetulu kakhulu ngoba kulalamanye amazone nakhona kunema competitors lamakhulu noma kulama zones la fana Thokolwako na Pick. So sifisile ukuthi sibe ngoba sisatoba nema games bo number 1 number 2 labatabi bawinile kulama zones lang 3 ukuthi bahlangane kuze kuphume number 1 na number 2 number 3 we Hoho region as a whole. Since our last games before last season Raiders Masters bekunguye number 1 bese Mambabane Roses kunguye number 2 then number 3 kwakungizandondo. So sifisile ukuthi competition yanyalo isetulu kakhulu asibona ukuthi sitawudlala ngendlela lesetulu ukuthi ne-elite nayo itasemukela.
Ikoti letingaphasi kwayo lemidlalo yesifundza sakaHhohho tinzatfu lokuyimbabane sipike kanye nakadvokolwako. Lobikela umsakati Eswatini TV kutemidlalo ngilinda Dlamini kanzi titfombe mphathizo Msibi eMbabane.
Ungosi asitephethe lapho tesiswati sibuke simo selitulu sitabuya sichubeka nehlelo.
Are they yours?
Ngabukela ke washa umkhukhu every Sunday at 3 p.m.
Asibonze sinemukele siyakuvusela nawo losanza kusivulela bezivetele ukuthi isidaba sikhulumisana na country director wemkhankaso i1 billion rising dokumleke ukuthi i1 billion rising ngumkhankaso lona lo hambisa nje indzabata bomake embili emalungelo abomake embili sidakumlene ukuthi ke lamaviki lambala lengcile baba solo nje bavakashela imimango leminingi solo nje bahambisa yona indzaba yokuthi ivotela make akungene make eParliament sibabonile ke bomake labangenile eParliament yelishumi nakubili 12 Parliament balenganiselwa ku25 elofaya cards bomake labase Parliament nje House of Assembly bangu 8 labawina elikhethweni bese kuthi labakhethwa ingwenyama bane kuphela bese kuthi eHouse of Senate nakhona bangu 5 labanominated abavotela kanye na 8 lo appointwe yingwenyama yinombolekelena lengafiki lo 30% mhlambe lofunwa ngumthetho osisekelo welive kepha ke lesekushona ukuthi sekubhekekile ukuthi malungu eParliament akhethe bomake labane labasuka kuleso naleso sifundza labatawungeta le nombolo ezifika ku 30%. I'm joined by country director Makecolani Hlatshwako kusikhulumisana naye nje ngawo lo mkhankaso baba solo baqhuba ukadvocate labomake ukuthi bangene eParliament. Asekuvusele ecelane siyabonga ukuthi ube nathi 25 women ayisinombolo lejapisako but nje siphose safika lapho lo 30%. Ingabe ningathi nje ngale dinombolo lesolo sitibona nje tabomake tikhula bomake solo bayangena eParliament, Senate, House of Senate kanye neHouse of Assembly.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu sisi ngibingelele nembukele ekhaya. Ngingaka respond nje kule question yakho ngifuna kuvete reaction on i front page coverage lesiyibonako from eParliament where i-conversation on ukuthi indzaba yekucetha kuhlukubeta emalungu eParliament ayiraisile ayiveta le Prime Minister. I feel it's something that we cannot ignore because kumcoka ngoba tonke lushintsho lolukhona lichamuka eParliament siyaku appreciate lokuthi emalungu eParliament sithi sonke siconfuse sishacekile nabo kube khona laba khombisa ukuthi bakwenda ipriority ukuthi indzaba yekuhlukubetana kube indzaba labayikhulumisayo ukuthi kufanele icethwe. Indzaba yalabo make labangu 25 ngingasho ukuthi as much as si live singabuka ukuthi asikafiki lapho sifika khona but it's quite an improvement compared to leminyaka leminye lesichamuka kiyo and sisakhuluma nje ngalabo make uyayibuka le ndlela labangiyo le ndlela lama ukuthi babantu laba kanjani kulo 25 lona what is exciting ukuthi siyababona ukuthi bakhona bomake labe bavele bathi sebenta tindzaba tabomake lapho bebathe basebentela khona ngaba kusemangweni nasemsebentini yabo lokusinika ke lokuthi we are bringing in champions lapha and sibona bomake laba ne labana credible leadership qualities and highly qualified laba khona labase Parliament. Siphindze lokunye lokusijabulisa ukubuka ukuthi le Parliament le ayibuki kuphela ukuthi kunalabadzala kuphela. We are also seeing young faces lokusho ukuthi young women's voices atawukhona ukuthi avele lapha and also appreciating ukuthi kuna a woman living with disability naye lotawukhona to be a voice of people living with disabilities. So konke lokho le composition yabo lokubuka lethi inhlobo labangito lapha eParliament kusiniki hope as much as babancane kangaka
angeke ukuthi bataba ne strong voice ukuthi bangameli iParliament yonke. What I can say ukuthi lamalungu eParliament onke neHouse of Senate lekhona, let's take advantage yokuthi lama minority groups they are represented. And kuko konke tinchubo teParliament letendiwako iParliament phela abende siqiniswa ukuthi bayaba consulta bayaliva livi labo nabeta nema motions noma babalobhisha on certain issues abangaba reject because lokunye lobo kwenda emalungu eParliament athi siyatifisa ukuthi sithi khulume tindzaba but uyathi kude we were not even aware mhlawumbe ngoba mhlawumbe ama constituencies abo mhlawumbe akakuraise akubeke in the language labakhona ukuthi bakhona kuphutha ipressure kiko kodwa nyalo there is an opportunity ukuthi we have women labakhona, we have young women, we have women living with disability labakhona lapho. Lokunye nje lengifuna kuyi-highlighter sisina kumbukela ekhaya ku-appreciate again ngoba esisasebenda let us not ignore tinto letinhle letendekile. The fact lokuthi inkosi nayi appointa ema-members of Senate iwulandzela umthethosisekelo lokuthi at least 8 women. That on its own into lekufanele ukuthi isitshele lokuthide silivela kangwane ukuthi bumcwangani kulandzela umthethosisekelo. And lo muthe ngekuhola ngesibonelo lesihle siyakujabulela lokho sekukhuthata ke kuthi nakuletinye tigaba umthethosisekelo asiuhloniphe asiulandzele singabe sesitendela tinto ngendlela lokhanza ukuthi sesiphambene nemthethosisekelo ikakhulu kati le Parliament ngoba iParliament isibuko sawonke umuntu nasibuka indlela yekuhola sibuka le Parliament ukuthi ihola ngaluphi ihlobo le mithetho leyishayako iyawuhlonipha yini wona umthetho longumgogodla welive lonke even la kangwane. Bengifuna ke usetangibuta lomnye umbuto sisakhuluma nje ngale representation yabomake kuthi bang 25 but sinako lokuthi iconstitution njengoba sikhuluma ngekuhlonipha kweconstitution ithi nabanganeli kulo 30% noma kule quota kufanele ukuthi bese kukhethwa bomake labane nalapho ke umuntu bekabhekile ukuthi iParliament ilandzele exactly le constitution endlela lesho ngayo kungakendeki konke lokunengi ithi nje nayihlala iParliament kufanele ukuthi labo make labane bakhethwe umuntu ke uyabuka ukuthi dinengi into letibonakala tichubeka letenda labo make sebafika emuva kanti leto tinto leto ngileti imcoka letikhomba ukuthi umthethosisekelo siyawuhlanzela futhi siyawuhlonipha iphindze futhi uthi lo mthetho waloku khethwa kalabo make uthi kukhethwa make lo nominatiwe kepha siyabona ukuthi kungandeka kube nginominatiwe but nganga bese ngiyakhethwa nganga stand for ama elections but sayinengile ngikhulume ukuthi kukhethwa bomake labangakaphumeleli elikhethweni again si interpreta kabi lo mthetho so umuntu angasho nje ukuthi iParliament na ku clerk to Parliament asisebenziseni lesibuke lendzaba kuze ukuthi sitonda siqiniseke ukuthi nasikhuluma ngendzaba tabomake netindzaba tekuhlonishwa komthethosisekelo sitende kahle even la kangwane.
I think siselapho nje Colani kuma positives kanye mhlambe ne women representation eParliament kukanengi sivele sikhubatekile sivete indzabe ukuthi siyacela naso ukuthi kube nemvlota abamelela eParliament tokhuluma tinkinga tabo ama challenges tinkinga nje ababhekana nayo emimangweni and nako ingwenyama yam appoint amake Stucky Motsa tindzaba letimnanzi leto I think kungaba kuva ukuthi vele mhlambe nani sendela ama community visits nani khulumisana nabo bamfla bakhubatekile ingabe vele mhlambe kungena kumflo okubatekile eParliament kutaba sita kanganani kuzama nje mhlambe ku-addressa lama issues abo lababhekana nawo.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu kulombuto kwecela nje ngingasho ukuthi nasikhuluma ngemflo okhubatekile umake ngibekise make uyahlukubeteka yebo eveni sikhala ngako kepha nasowubuka ke make lokhubatekile lokuhlukubeteka lokuviwa ngilomake longakakhubateki kuye lo lokhubatekile kuyaphinza ngoba yena kunetingqinamba letiningi lebese lama layers la abakhona ekuhlukubeteka etikwakhe. So kuba khona kwabo eParliament kuyinto lemcoka kuthi livi labo livakale. Ngifuna kuyikhulumisa la endzabeni yekuthi livi labo livakale. Amunye angeke abe livi lelitawuvakala. Siya appreciate ukuthi ukhona. But kungendeka because nas understand inqubo yekusebenta kweParliament livi lelilodwa lite le impact lengakanani. Asifuni kusasa bese sithi lo make lo khubateki lo phila nekhubateka lo lapha eParliament akakasebenzi. Sikhohlwe lokuthi uyedwa phela lapha. So lokuba khona kwakhe kungako ngishido ukuthi iParliament ayithathi advantage. What lenguthanza kakhulu ukuthi sonke silive kangwane sikhuluma livi linye ukuthi indzaba yekuhlukubeteka indzaba yekuthuthukisa bonke abantu nekuthuthuka kwelive siyibuka ngaso linye. Lokusho ukuthi kuba khona kwalomake siyakujabulela siyayibonga ingwenyama ngakwenta njalo kepha angeke azalende lishintsho ayedwa. Utawukhona kusebenta abe live ngekulekelelwa ngulalabanye labaseParliament bandele kusebenta kwakhe bendele environment ibe conducive angafili intimidated ukuthi atenyete because ngilokunye lokwende bomake bathi nabaseParliament bagcina bangakhoni ukukhuluma ngoba lesimo lesikhona asimbabendi bakhona ukuthi khulumela ngalokukhululekile. So naye asakhona lapha ingabe lesimo sitawendiwa yini ukuthi ativele ukuthi cha ngiyafuna ukukhuluma livi labomake noma lebantu labaphila nekhubateka angingagcekwa anginganyedwa angingativa ngathi angaphelele. So lokunye ke lekufanele sikwende ukuthi bisekhona leParliament iParliament into esiqiniswa abakhona lama sessions ekubuilda le capacity yemalungu eParliament eku-understanda labantu from the diverse communities neku-understanda ukuthi the language loyisebenzisako imbulala kangakanani imlimata kangakanani. Imagine nje asathi lo mako usafuna kulobhisha ukuthi umove emotion uthi ungeke thine sitshelwe bafati already that so umshayile lo make nalona ke lophila nekukhubateka kungendeka kukhona into lebata ukhanza bayikhulumisa. So iyadzingeka le training le awareness raising kumalungu eParliament kusasetshenzwa kuze kuthi kutosetshenzwa ngekubambana sitokhona kuchubekela phambili labo make basitakale nekusho nje ukuthi asishiyi kuphela ku organizations laphusha indzaba yabantu abaphila ngekukhubateka ukuthi basekele lo make nathi sonke sithi inhlangano sinemsebenzi wekumpha onke lama issues simncwadzise silekelele lapho kudinga simlekelele khona.
Kundlali sokumisa iprogram lapho khona lelifisile lokuthi lamalungu eParliament kungapheli nje lo 5 years wonke asolele eParliament angayilethi iboard mhlambe angahlangani nesive sayo emimangweni kuyiniketa iboard ukuthi kusebente kanjani eParliament. I think lokunyalo mhlambe sekutawusebenta lo hlelo lolu kutawusida nokuthi naye mhlambe athole lawo ma inputs mhlambe ama suggestions nakahlangene nje nesive sakhe khona emimangweni ingabe vele nako lokho mhlambe ukuthi asifaka insando ukuthi kube umsebenzi wakhe yena makesithoke imotho ube ngiloyo mhlambe lo malula nje ukuthi uhlahlangana nesive babonisane ngema motions mhlambe labafise ukuthi awareze eParliament.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu njengoba yena asesenate lokusho ukuthi emalungu eParliament eseHouse of Assembly ayadinga ukuthi letindlu letimbili tiyathelelana ngisho lapho ke ku engage nekubantu kuyinto lemcoka and lekunye lengingakusho ukuthi hayi kumake Stuki konke amalungu eParliament bangene eParliament ngesikhathi lapho eMaswati asa empowerishekile on understanding ukuthi irole yabo ithini nekuthi ema issues kufuna ukuthi asebenzwe kanjani. So lamaswati la khona kasafanani la kaitolo labeka tshelo nyalo ayathi khulumela ukuthi into kufanele ukuthi tibe kanjani. Ngicabanga ukuthi le process leyo kungaba ngiko nje kuba encourage naye make motha namalunga eParliament ukuthi kucocisana nemango wakho abakwende kube ngumkhuba and nanoma soyekibo because banenkinga labanye abantu baba defensive if kurezwa tinto ithathe njenge positive criticism funza lokuthide kuloko labakushoko labantu ungastendi ube sitha ne community yakho manengi imimango lapho emalunga eParliament lamanye akhona agcina ngale kule maParliament lahlukile ndlulile imimango beyisho ukuthi samgcina ngalanga simkhetha noma athi nasakhethiwe abakhumbude ukuthi nine benithi nangikhankasa. So lokho ngekwako nasewulunga leParliament kufuna wathi ukuthi sewubuke wonke umuntu kude lo mbuka ngazuthi mina ngikhulumisa iyouth ngoba ngumflo omusha mina ngikhulumisa abomake ngoba ngingimake ngikhulumisa labaphila ne disability ngoba ngiphila ne disability ithi lenzaba engage nabo bonke abantu ngoba le tinto labatati raise kukhona lapho ti benefita even le constituency lova ukuthi wena une best interest yayo noma lelo hlangothi lolubuke kakhulu enhlitweni yakho. So lo budlelwane bekukhulumisa nale mango kungolo kumcoka nalokusho lami imango wena ukuthi phela nasesiwa engage labo make noma lamalunga eParliament njengoba naye senator ayemangweni asimakhe singambhidlidi singamendi ngoyoyo sicabanga ukuthi konke sotakwenda kuphelele kuningi ama processes aseParliament le yena yedwa ngeke azakwende konke.
So sisinibonile nje cela ni vele nje kusukela nje kucala lomnyaka soloni ivakashela sive nisifundzisa ngebumcoka bokuthi nihambisa nje kakhulu kade vele nje malunga labomake ukuthi bomake bangene eParliament ingabe vele mhlambe nanisavakashela nje lidindzawo leti bekuyini lena lebenitfola la esiveni bakhuluma bathini bomake kuya ngalo ukuthi make angamthembi lomnyama ukuthi angakhona kuyonto umsebenzi eParliament.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu imimango imimango leminingi noma abantu labaningi ngingasho ukuthi sisacocisana bayabona bomcoka abamake ebuholini bayabona bomcoka abamake ukuthi angaba khona eParliament and sebakhona nalabanye bomake labathethembako ekutheni nangabe baphakamisiwe bathi cha ngidasimelela lesigaba labangincomekiswa. Kepha ke lo kwenda ngazuthi siyachubeka bomake basale emuva kuba ngilesigabeni lesithi solo siyayisho lenzaba ukuthi lendzawo lezidlalela kuwo le ground silise ngakabi level lenta ukuthi bomake kucheke kibo basalele emuva kungaba ukuthi indzaba temnotho ngoba nasikhuluma ngekungenela likhethweni lukhetho hayi ukuthi bakhetha ngobunjingile but sebakukhethile kunema resources noma kunetimali letidingeka ukuthi ube nato kufuna usuke lana uyelena imali leyo udzinga ube nabo galajane imali leyo. So tonke letinto leto tenda ke lo make lokhanze ukuthi akanalutho but ngimake lo active lone potential akasakhoni ke ukucudzelana kahle nalemango. Lokunye lesikubonile ngulokusetshenziswa kwekunika abantu ukudla. Lokusetshenziswa kwekunika abantu ukudla sebandelwa loka naloka kubeka lo make lo vele yena ahluphekile angasakhoni and ngoba siphila ku society le hitwe hard poverty lehluphekile uthi nakaphe kufika lo muntu ngoba labantu bane strategy wena sisi abafiki nje ukuthi ufika namuhla utonipha singo lokhu kungenwe likhetho already uqalile nyalo usebenzela 2028 uthasi nakafika iBC athi ungababuki labaletha singo labantu babuka ukuthi lo muntu lona uqale nini solo abendela tindo uyabona musungena lathi ingqondweni tabo So lo make lona ke lo uactive lamangweni uyasebenza but akathi khona ukukhipha letindlu akatakhi letindlu debantu akakhoni lokuthi abanike abantu bacala ema projects. So if ngoba uthi so ushido wakala lesikukhuthatha ukuthi bantu noma lo mthetho welikhetho awubukele ukuthi nasikhetha umuntu le process lenzaba yekukhipha kudla ingilenye into longa relate uyifananise nale ngikhohlakalo lesikhuluma ngayo yekuthenga amavoti because nasafika nje ahlapa inkomo enda kuthi nekuthi kube part of the campaigning vele so diesel yini singasebenzisa ukuthi umphathi ikhulumele livi lakhe sive ukuthi vele story sakhe siyasiva hayi ngekuthi wakhele abantu tindlu hayi ngekuthi uhambe kuphi wabita bahlabeleli ngoba lo lote leto tindlu leto utakhona yini kwenda lokho. So letinto letinye lekhanza ukuthi asitinaki but nato tingiletinye letikhomba lokuthi ayathengeka lamavoti ngaloko letenda ke bomake basalele emuva bomake bayethembana kakhulu and noma ngabe kukhona lapho sibona khona ukuthi labo make abakamsekele nakubo babe bakhona bobabe labangamsekeli lomunye babe lokuyindlu le normal as long as bantu balobhishiwe kwa raise awareness ba believe la kuleyo muntu batamsekela.
Ngifuna kubuda lapha Colani ezini savakashela nje imimango leyahlukahlukene ngabe niyeni hlangabetane netinkinga la letfaya ekhathi make avete indzaba yokuthi yena akakhoni mhlambe ukucuthelana nalabanye bomake kungenela esikhundleni sebuholi ngezaphi sekuthi babe wasekhaya uthi ngeke alunge ukuthi ayongenela ayobangu mhlambe ngumholi ngalokuthi utabe sizohola imali letulu kanti babe yena uhola imali lephansi ngabe vele mhlambe kuba yinkinga lenganani vele leyo bayahlangabetana inayo bomake lenkinga leyo ukuthi angeke ngikhona ukuthatha lo msebenzi lo ngoba ngisaba ukuthi babe ekhaya utawuthini sengihola kakhulu kunaye kuyathi bangayinivele leto inkinga leto ekhaya.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu avelile itinto letifana neletinjalo ngalesikhathi selikhetho phindze noma kungasizo lelikhetho kuletinye nje tigaba letiye tibe khona bomake lokhanza ukuthi bakhethelwe kito ngenxa yokuthi le society yende babe acabanga ukuthi nguye lofanele ubuholi nemagunya netimali yenda lokuthi nasekunaleli thuba lalo make lo babe amcinzetele sibonile nje kube khona lapho bomake labanye bangalingenelisa nhlobo ngoba lo baba umbitile wathi awungeni lapha umuntu lekufanele angene umnakethu noma ngusibani lo mndeni uvangaza ukuthi kufanele nakungene wesilisa ngeke wena mfati bese ucuthelana naye sabona lapho noma lo babe naye alingenelelo likhetho afune lo mfati ukuthi phuma wena akusale mine ngoba yena batibona ngathi kufanele ukuthi bangenele likhetho so kunengi lo kucinzeteleka lokhanza ukuthi bomake bathi noma bafuna kuphakama bakhunjutwe labanye ukuthi phela wena umsikade awukenzi ngeke futhi sikukhethele ungene likhetho utathi naso wenza utabese wenda njani lemicabo leminingi leyenda ukuthi make angatholi amathuba ngalokufana nako nababe noma nemfana losemusha lonikwe lawo mathuba so ngito tonke lemicabo lesithi nasicocela emangweni nasendela ama community sectors ukuthi asitisuse letingcondo lesolo letisibisele emuva tende sithi nasibuka make simbuke ngaleliso lekuthi akakafanele ibuholi akakafanele kuba nemali kungako sikhuthatha lekutheni labantu balabasha labaphila namuhla wesilisa nesifazana akajwayele ukuthi sotha uphila ku society lapho umfato wakhe utawuba ngidokotela yena noma ngabe usebenta security guard utaba nemfati longisoma business noma ngabe yena ude lamabhizinisi lamakhulu kepha yonke into sikhuthathe lokuthi uyamsekela uyamphakamisa kuleso sigaba lakiso hayi kumbuka i-competition kepha kube ngumuntu leningaphilisana naye
bayakuva bobabe lokho ezinisahlangene nje nabo nisayensenda letingcoco noma mhlambe indlela iseyinze
indlela iseyinze kunengi lekufanele sikwende but bakhona bobabe laba positive sikhuluma nabo babe nje basebuhle biyeza just to highlight si commemorate the day of the girl child nga October. Sathi yathi instead of siye kula mantombazane sisiye kula bobabe ngoba lo mntwana lo intombazane utalwa ngumake atalwe ngubabe, and most of the time bobabe sibabona bangekho present ekukhuliseni umntwana. Maningi lama cases lapho bona bangekho khona, and bekukuhle kumnanzi kuva labo babe babona lokuthi uyathi lo mfana lo intombazane usalele emuva ugcina abe ngumake lo cinzetelekile. Kukhona inzima lisidlalile sibobabe ngekungamsekeli, ngekungamkhulisi kahle, and bathi khanza nabo ukuthi banenzima ekufanele ukuthi bayidlale ekuphakamiseni lo mntwana athi akhula kuba ngumake ayoba ngumholi wakusasa. Kodwa lebuholi ubuvetelwe ngilamndeni wakhe ngilabatali bakhe ngoba ngebuholi ngekuthi ninginike opportunity ukuthi ngifunze, ningi trainer towards leadership. Ngekungikhulisa kahle ngiphile ku-environment le hlonipha ilungelo lami ngumfana ngithi ive ngivikelekile. That is also kungi-asharisha towards i-leadership. Ngiyawuba ngumuholi lo ne-confidence, lo dethembako ngoba ngikhule ekhaya leli kanjalo. So bakhona bobabe lababhilivelako ebuholini bamake, lababhilivelako ekutheni nabakhulisa abantwana bonke bana equal opportunities. And lokunye lokumnanzi bakhona bobabe labatele amantombazane bodwa labangakholelwa ukuthi le ntombazane lena akukafanele yona iphakame. Ngiye ngitshele abantu ngababo wami simantombazane lamanenge ekhaya, kepha ngaso sonke isikhathi bekakutshela ukuthi utawuba ngumholi, utawuphaka, akukhuthade. And bekukakadzeni ke asengakafundziswa nokuthi bathole le empowerment, but lokukholelwa lokuthi le ntombazane yami le khona lapha iyakhona. Ngiloko ke lesikhutsatako kubobabe kunalabo labakhona labakhutsata lokho siyababonga kakhulu, sengathi bengaba baningi bobabe labanjalo.
Okay, no kuyavakala sibonga kakhulu kucela nesibonga isikhathi sakho. Mbukeli beside katana tindzaba tabomake lana indzaba yemkhankaso losolo oqhutshwa ngiyo inhlangano 1 billion rising campaign ekwadvocate labomake ukuthi bangene etikhundleni tebuholi. Asibahle temakethe sitaba yasichubeke nehlelo.
Nene bekunene kusetandleni tesive ukuthi imimango ingagcini kukampunzi edla emini. Sive sakangwane nebantu labakhethe kuhlala Eswatini abaphila ngekukhululeka nekuthi kubethe lo nyathelo lilungelo lalabanye egameni lekufuna lilungelo lakhe. Sive asikhumbule ukuthi emaphoyisa bomake nabobabe labatinikele kwenta siqiniseko ukuthi wonke umuntu lonempahla yakhe ingacekelwa phansi ngulomunye. Wonke umuntu akahlale ngekuthula nangaphandle kokwesaba tintwe letingatiwa. Emaphoyisa ngekulandzela nekushiqilela umthetho athi into yemuntu ayibe ngeyakhe umuntu. Sive asijinge siwabambise siphinde siwasekele emaphoyisa emsebentini wawo. Kude emalungelo aso sive osomabhizinisi kanye nebantu labasebentako anganyatheleki. Khona-ke imimango itawukwakha nemakhaya akhulise bantwana ngaso sandla lesiya emlonyeni. Emaphoyisa naso sive abasebente ngebudlelwane nangekubambisana kulwa nebucala netingoti temgwaco.
Do you remember the spinning thing? This is us. This picture represents what we did. We were there when coronavirus wreaked havoc in our population. Together with other stakeholders, we formed the first line, controlling the spread of the unknown and unseen enemy of the people. Anxious ourselves, we collected dead bodies countrywide. At the time when no one wanted to come near dead bodies of loved ones, we did care for our fellow citizens. Thank you, the people of Eswatini and teams of first responders.
Lesi sikhathi lapho khona emaphoyisa agubha kuba khona kwawo eveni. Kulapho kukhuthathwa khona sive ukuthi sike sihlale phansi sibuke bumcoka bemaphoyisa empilweni yabantu. Siphindze sibuke tindlela letinsha tekuphepha kubo bonke bucala lobuveta sihloko. Sive sakangwane siyakhunjutwa ukuthi singawafaki emaphoyisa etinkulumeni tepolitiki ngoba liphoyisa alingeni futhi alingenelani nepolitiki. Emaphoyisa alwa nebucala netingoti temgwaco kuphela nje. Ingako emaphoyisa athi wonke umuntu eveni akahlale ngaphandle kwekunceneka ukuthi angahle ahlaselwe tilwane tasendle. Umuntu lohlala eSwatini akatiphilele atisebentele ngaphandle kwekwesaba kuhlaselwa kwemucwa nekucekelwa phansi kwempahla yakhe. Nawe wena lophathekile emaphoyisa athi digulele kahle uze uphile ngaphandle kwekuphatamiseka. Lokungenteka ngekuthi tidlova tingene tihlasele labo labakunakekelako kuleyo ndlu. Sive lesihlakaniphile nguleso lesiphakamisa kusebenta kwemaphoyisa nabo bonke labalwa nebucala. Ngale kwaloko timbungushe tiyawuwangenela emazinyane kungenamuntu ekhaya. Lo mlayeto niulethelwa ngemaphoyisa embube abambisene nomsakato wetithombe.
Asibinze silemukele sitawubuka simo semgwaqo lomhla ekseni na assistant inspector Bekmuzikule asivusele emagwabani lomhla ekseni ikhambeka kanjani emgwaqweni.
Sile Thombeni usile nakuye umbukeli welihlelo imthamo wethu imoto lemgwaqweni sowuvele uphakeme linanda labo labamba ngesinyawo nalo libonakala selisedulu ukukhuthaza nje nokugcizelela kubo bonke labasebenzisa umgwaqo kumgcoka bekubambisana ngokuhloniphana nokulandzela tona timpawu temgwaqo. Yebo nayo imithetho yemgwaqo ukuze ukuthi sibe ngilabaphephile njalo njalo sisayisebenzisa imigwaqo. Ngalokufishane yebo lokukhethekile siyawubuka imigwaqo yelive lakangwane ikakhulukazi leyo lemikhulu ekhathi edolobheni laseMbabane iba netemgwaqo letilapha eceleni kwasesibhedlela solo adisebendi siphakamise njeke kudumisa kakhulu kubashayeli bakhona edolobheni laseMbabane indlela lababambisana ngayo ngaphandle kokulekelelwa ngawe emaphoyisa. Siyawukhuthaza lo moya ukuthi awungazi ungafika nakuletinye tifundza sende isiqiniseko sokuthi awube kunene siyahloniphana sende isiqiniseko sokuthi ngesana wona emathuba layo bangilophephile. Ngalokunjalo lapha eceleni kwesikole lesikhulu saseMbabane Central nangu yangwaqo longsosisa road usuka lapha egedeni lakhona esikolweni uyofika khona lapha kumanzana uyalungiswa leyo mgwaqo loyo. Sisebenzisa ngemgwaqo lezilelona kwesikhashana le uvumele ukuthi kungahamba imoto loyinye ngesikhathi sinye. Bakhona ke nalabo labalawula kona ke kuhamba kwazo imoto lo. Siyawukhuthaza nje bashayeli ukuthi abachubeke babahloniphe bathathe naleyo milayeto leyawenda ukuthi sinikedane ke wona ke mathuba ngalokuphephile. Kumathapha khona nalapha edolobheni lakaManzini sisebenza kahle timane temgwaqo kanti lapha endasi yenhlangano lesingakuveta bekunene kokuthi umgwaqo solo uyakhiwa lo MR11 usuka lapha kaMjuda wenyukele khona lapha ku Royal Casino la sisebenzisa khona umgwaqo lesivulele wona ke kwesikhashana. Nekuphawula ke ukuthi ke nawuthuthana ngeyomgwaqo losuka khona lapha enhlangano ubheke khona lapha kumahamba kuleyo mgwaqo bekunene sekude nani imidwebo yaphansi kungasiko kwekuphela kulela lasenshiselweni nakulesinye nje tifundza imigwaqo ayisabonakala imidwebo yaphansi. Lekwenda ke ukuthi bashayeli bakhuthaze ukuthi ababe ngulabo labanakisisako ikakhulukazi indzawo letiphephile bekwendlula lenye imotolo kuze ukuthi sibe ngilabaphephile sawusebenzisa ke yona imigwaqo. Nema-potholes ke kulandzela imvula letinkulu lesibenathi bekunene solo akhona emigwaqweni kuletinye tiganga ayabonakala sekabuketekile awube kunene niyakhuthaza lokho ukuthi liso lakho alibe ngilelikhaliphile ngaso sonke isikhathi wende isiqiniseko sokuthi uyanakisisa. Na usuka nje lapha kubomalinza ubheka khona lapho kubomathetha uyofika lapha indasi kubombaka awube kunene mabi ama-potholes. Siyacela nje ukuthi bashayeli baqaphelisise kulolo hlangothi lolo nakuletinye tifundza ke njengoba bese siphawulile kanti nakuyo imigwaqo ledelfiyela nayo iyabonakala ukuthi ayikho esimeni lesikahle kulandzela tona ke timvula. Ngakho ke asishayele ke ngalokukhulu ukucophelela njengoba sivetile ukuthi umthamo wemotolo nesive ungilolo sesetulu kakhulu. Sikhuthaze ke nakubo labathutha sona sive bekunene ukuthi asende isiqiniseko sokuthi imotolo zethu letiphilile silayisha ngelinani elifanele futhi ke siyayihlonipha nayo ke imithetho yemgwaqo ikakhulukazi litubane asihambe ngelitubane leliyawena ukuthi siyawukhona ke kulawula leto timoto lotethu. Kungaba ngiloko nje kuseni siza kube indlela lenhle konke losebenzisa umgwaqo nanendlela emsakazo sinisisele lona lisuku loluyaba ngiloluhle. Kuphepha kwakho kuphepha kwami sikanye kanye sibambisene ngwane sitawukhona ukunciphisa lona timoto zemgwaqo. Siyabonga Thombe.
Swakhulukule asibahle temakethe sibene tindzaba tesingisi.
We at Eswatini Television Authority are committed to observing the Eswatini Communication Commission's Broadcasting Code of Conduct.
Under the code, we are committed to broadcast news that is current, free from hate speech, accurate, balanced, and fair.
From politics to business, health, agriculture, courts, and global news, we bring you the latest updates as they happen, when they happen.
We cover all the sporting codes from the football pitch to the chessboards.
This is Eswatini TV News.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at our English bulletin. Prime Minister Russell Miso Dlamini has been sworn in as a Member of Parliament. The swearing-in has been administered by Attorney General Sfiso Khumalo on Monday.
With his left hand on a Bible and his right raised, Prime Minister Russell Miso Dlamini was sworn in as a member of the House of Assembly.
Mine Russell Memo Dlamini. Mine Russell Miso Dlamini.
Mine Russell Miso Dlamini. Ngiyafunga
ngithi ngiyakwethembeka futhi
ngiyikhothamele
Inkosi
Mswati wesithathu
indlala ifatayo kanye nabayobusa emva kwayo ngekulandzela umthetho Inkosi ingiside siyabonga Nkosi.
After being sworn in, members of Parliament congratulated him on his appointment.
Simbonile asebenza agijima lapha ka NDMA. Sabona ukuthi indoda lekhona ukuthi sebenze ngakutimisela. Sekumthandazela nje ukuthi aqhubeke kahle. uNkulunkulu amside.
Live likhulumile ngedlala etiningi kusukela ekuqaleni kwekuvota kuze kube kusesibayeni kuthi kuthula nekusimama liyakufuna eveni. Labantu lendlela bende ngayo labakhuluma ngayo kuyavakala ukuthi kuthula nekusimama ngwalo kumgcoka ngani ngoba nentuthuko emnothweni ngeke ibe khona
kuthi sisayembili lo kwendeke ngemuva sikhohle sibuke embili njengoba sibasacela ukuthi sicela ndvulankulu lokholwako lemesaba uNkulunkulu vele inkosi yasinceda ndvulankulu lemesaba uNkulunkulu likholwa ke liyaxolela.
Although the Premier did not say anything after his swearing in, it was noted that he did take down notes as different members of Parliament spoke. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosima Vimbela with Muzim Konda, Parliament.
Senators have been sworn in and they are now eligible to conduct their legislative duties. Most of them are those appointed by His Majesty King Mswati III on Sunday evening. The senators have been informed of what their oath means.
Akusiko nje ukuthi ilip service lesiyendako Mr Clark ngumsebenzi lomgcoka lesifungo lesi ngoba sifungo sekuthembeka. Sifungo sekuthembeka ku head of state welive. Sifungo sekuthembeka kubo bukhosi. Sifungo sekuthembeka kulamaswati lekungiwona nimelele wona la eParliament. Sifungo futhi lesikhomba ukuthi utaqhubeka uhloniphe uhloniphe bukhosi utihloniphe nana nawe ngoba usibuko sayo inkosi njengoba ula kulendlu yetimpungu.
Senators were sworn in from 11:30 on Monday.
Mina temaswati Dlamini
Mina temaswati Dlamini
ngiyafunga
ngiyafunga
ngithi ngitawethembeka
ngithi ngidawethembeka
futhi ngiyikhothamele
futhi ngiyikhothamele
Inkosi Mswati wesithathu
Inkosi Mswati wesithathu
indlalifatayo
indlalifatayo
kanye labayobusa emva kwayo
labayobusa emva kwayo
ngikulandzela umthetho
ngikulandzela umthetho
Inkosi ingiside.
Inkosi ingiside.
One by one, they stood next to the Attorney General, Sifiso Khumalo, facing the Senate President's seat and took an oath. The importance of this oath was then explained.
Simcwa kakhulu lesifungo. Ngiyakholelwa ukuthi noma iroom kumbe ingasekho noma ikhona ngathi angaseluleka Leonard Attorney General. Kwenta sifungo ungabusasenta kunemthalo ebukhulu kakhulu emndeneni wakwakho nje uwedwa. Kwehlele generation naleta generation uthole ukuthi saqhubeka lutho empilweni ngenxa nje usiwephula sifungo.
Senate proceeded to elect president and deputy president. Lindiwe Dlamini retained the former, while Ndumiso Mdluli retained the latter, as they occupied the same positions in the previous parliament. Their election was unopposed. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Patizwe Msibi Lobamba.
Women organizations are happy with the number of women who are members of the August House and Senate chambers and in the House of Assembly. According to calculations, there will be 25 women in the 12th Parliament out of the 99 parliamentarians. This suggests that women form 29.7% of parliamentarians.
When appointing members of Senate, at least it should be 8 women, and we have seen that the King has ensured that he appoints as per the Constitution. And why are we applauding that is because as a leader, it's always good when he leads by example, and it's also encouraging even in other platforms to say whatever that we do, let's ensure that we respect the Constitution, we do things by as per the Constitution. And also to say this year, this Parliament, you are seeing, not to say we have reached the quota as per the Constitution or we have reached the 50% as per how the SADC protocol, but we are seeing an increase in women's participation compared to the previous years.
We are very much excited, and we are feeling very great of what the results are, as the King, His Majesty King Mswati III, has tried to empower women, more especially in nominating or appointing some women to represent other women in parliaments in both houses. We are very much excited.
The Federation of Organizations of Persons with Disabilities in Eswatini says His Majesty King Mswati III has thrown a challenge to Eswatini to ensure that persons with disabilities are included in all bodies formed with the aim of developing various sectors of the country. These sentiments were expressed by Fatswa President Bongani Makama, who applauded the King for appointing a disabled woman, Stuki Mota, into the House of Senate of the 12th Parliament of the Kingdom of Eswatini.
In many instances, when His Majesty King Mswati III addresses the nation, he emphasizes the importance of inclusion of all sectors of society in order for the country to attain sustainable development. This has been the case even during the recently held national elections, and His Majesty has led by example by appointing a woman with albinism into the House of Senate, a deed which is applauded by the President of the Federation of Organizations of Persons with Disabilities, Bongani Makama.
Is passing his gratitude to His Majesty the King. We are saying Bayete Bulogu to what has happened. To us, it is a great honor for persons with disability. It is the first of its kind. For that matter, she's a woman, and she has experience towards issues for persons with disability, more especially for issues for persons with albinism.
Newly appointed Senator Stuki Mota has this to say.
All I can say is bayethu naphakade. Issues that I'm passionate about are those of youth, women, and persons with disabilities welfare.
The National Population Census report of 2017 indicates that persons with disabilities constitute over 13% of the country's population. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Mbongwa Dube with Fortune Dlangamandla and Themba Shabango in Babane.
The Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology Principal Secretary Peshap Dube says the drafting of the Eswatini Indigenous Knowledge Systems Policy marks a milestone in Eswatini's journey towards recognizing, preserving and harnessing the invaluable wealth of indigenous knowledge that resides within Eswatini. He said this during the policy drafting led by the technical team for South Africa under Advocacy Policy Development in the Department of Science and Innovation.
Speaking during the drafting of the Eswatini Indigenous Knowledge Systems Policy, the Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology Principal Secretary Peshaya Dube said the policy encompasses the wisdom, practices, beliefs and values that have been passed from generations within Eswatini communities.
This policy will serve as a guiding framework to ensure the protection, preservation and promotion of indigenous knowledge, whilst also fostering its integration into mainstream education, research and innovation. We must work together to compile and document this wealth of knowledge, ensuring its accessibility for future generations.
Mazin Regional Administrator Chief Gicha says the policy will help to preserve Eswatini culture and traditions.
So we've lost a lot of things that identifies us. We lost our traditions, especially through the introduction of Christianity, where it looked like we didn't know God, yet we knew God. Maybe they brought a different way and we ended up losing our traditions and culture.
Director Advocacy and Policy Development in the Department of Science and Innovation in South Africa, Tom Sujanedan, speaks about the importance of the policy.
Of the IKS policy is the protection, development, management, and the focus of this meeting is more on the protection of indigenous knowledge.
The drafting of the policy is in its second phase, and relevant stakeholders also attended the session. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Mbongwa Dube Nowane.
The SADC heads of state have commended the general elections report of the Kingdom of Eswatini. The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Planning, Tabsile Mlangeni, says the extraordinary summit was convened to look at possible solutions towards the deterioration of the security and humanitarian situation in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Ingcithile enkulu bokukhulumisa indzaba yesimo lesikhona eveni lase Democratic Republic of Congo lapho kunemsindvo khona kunekulwa lokuthide on the eastern part of the country lesokuphatamisa nelukhetfo lolutako live lase Congo litabe liselukhethweni ungakapheli lomnyaka emavaka sadake ke uma kunetimo leti kanjalo ayaye abambisane alekelelane. Sikubonile kwendeka lokho event laseMozambique alekelelana ngakuthi asitane.
The main objective of the summit was to look at the deterioration of the security and humanitarian situation in the eastern DRC and the reported resumption of the attacks and occupation of territory by the M23 in clear violation of the ceasefire. On another note, the summit received an update on the elections in the SADC member states and noted the report of the SADC Elections Observation Mission to the harmonized elections in the Republic of Zimbabwe held in August 2023 and the general elections in the Kingdom of Eswatini in September 2023, which was free, inclusive and fair. The summit also reiterated the need for SADC to spearhead efforts towards mobilization of resources for facilitating peace and security in the SADC region. These efforts include reviving discussions to establish and operationalize the SADC Peace Fund and engaging international cooperating partners.
The Kingdom of Eswatini received 86,000 metric tons of maize harvest this year, while the country is working on achieving 140,000 metric tons. The Ministry of Agriculture will be engaging Sitobelweni farmers on technologies that can work in drought-prone areas. The Director of Agriculture, Nelson Mavuso, says farmers in drought-prone areas need to be capacitated to diversify their crops.
We will be commemorating observing the World Food Day 2023 under the theme, water is life, water is food, leave no one behind. What we're trying to say is that Sitobela area, it's a drought-prone area, and the people, because of their location, are unable to assess where they can sell their commodities, where they can make livelihoods outside agriculture. For that reason, we're saying those people are working very hard, and we can see a number of livelihood projects, especially when they are given a drop of water. They are making very good use of it. We note that Kubuta, for instance, it's a banana area where a majority of the farmers either working or producing banana in their gardens. And the Sitobela market, you actually will find all the people who are selling there. They will either be selling bananas or anything that is coming from the ground. And those ones are actually those who have access to water. The Sitobela area is a very fertile area, flat, deep soils, but they just need water. We invite everybody to come and see so that they can be able to emulate what those people are doing in terms of sustaining their livelihoods out of using water as the main ingredient. We are aware that if you give them water, there's nothing that they cannot achieve. There are those projects around them at St. Philip's where they are growing sugarcane, and Kubuta, there are these bananas, and those small people who are around the river streams are able to grow some gardens, vegetables in their gardens.
And in international news, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Monday that Washington was working very aggressively to dramatically expand the amount of aid reaching trapped civilians in Gaza as he held 2 hours of one-on-one talks with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, focused on soothing the anger at both Israel and the West of one of Washington's most strategic but difficult allies.
Tough talks in Turkey as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken capped a frantic weekend of diplomatic visits. In a closed-door meeting with the Turkish foreign minister Monday, Blinken aimed to soothe anger over the violence in Gaza. Turkey is a strong supporter of Palestinians and has been furious at both Israel and its Western allies' support for the Jewish state. Before leaving the country, Blinken said regional consensus is a work in progress.
We're making sure that the different influence and relationships that countries in the region have, including the countries that I visited or spoke to, that they're using that to make sure that this conflict and crisis doesn't spread. And that's critical.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan did not make himself available to Blinken. Instead, he traveled across Turkey's northeast and continued to express staunch solidarity for Palestinians.
It is our responsibility for our Palestinian brothers to be saved from Israeli cruelty and for the massacres happening in Gaza in front of the world's eyes to be stopped.
Anger over Israel's offensive is as clear in the Turkish streets as in the presidential palace. Near the foreign ministry in Ankara, pro-Palestinian crowds protested during Blinken's meeting, clearly expressing their anger toward Israel and the U.S. The U.S. has been working to secure a humanitarian pause in Gaza and build regional support for it, but Arab players are pushing for an immediate ceasefire. Blinken's frantic weekend of travel also took him from Israel Israel to Jordan, the occupied West Bank, Cyprus, and Iraq. But his diplomatic efforts appear to have had limited success, with no humanitarian pause in sight.
As Israel continues its relentless bombing of the Gaza Strip, the children of the enclave are paying a heavy price.
Layan is 13 years old. An Israeli strike on her sister's home in Khan Yunis in the south of Gaza has cost her the ability to ever walk again.
There's no more future for me. My future is over. I have no future at all.
Layan was one of the lucky survivors of the attack. 4 of her relatives, including 2 of her sisters and a newborn, were killed under that same roof. She's now receiving treatment at Nasser Hospital.
I don't want false legs. False legs will just remind me of what's happened, and I don't want to remember.
Receiving a prosthetic leg would be close to impossible anyway. The blockade imposed on Gaza by Israeli forces has meant medical supplies are scarce. 14-year-old Ahmad has to make do with crutches. His leg was also amputated after an Israeli strike destroyed his home and killed 6 of his relatives. He used to play football in this courtyard every day.
Football is everything to me. It's my life. But I just have to be patient until they give me a prosthesis.
Given the limited resources, doctors are often left with no choice but to amputate limbs to prevent life-threatening complications.
We have treated a lot of cases, around 30 or 40 cases of amputation of upper and lower limbs.
The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says at least 3,900 children have been killed since the start of Israel's military campaign, which began on October 7th in response to Hamas's attack.
And in our sports news, Manini Pirates head coach Ichabod Masoka says the poor run of results in the current MTN Premier League season has affected the team mentally, and for that reason they have asked for a psychologist from the club bosses to assist to overcome the difficult period. Masoka was speaking after their recent defeat to Mbabane Highlanders over the weekend. 23 minutes after 7, we've come to the end of our bulletin. Thank you for staying with us. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll be speaking to FSRA on Investor Week.
What do you think the best part of traveling is? Is it the food, or is it the conversation, or is it the sights and sound? If you're ready to explore, we are ready to show you the best way how. We'll give you access to the best luxury getaway sites in the Kingdom of Eswatini, and of course show you vacation sites that suit your budget, because you do not need a lot of money to actually have a great time. Join us on the next adventure on Buhle Bethu, only on Eswatini TV.
Asimze sinemukela njengoba bezivedile ukuthi isidaba sikhulumisana nalabasuka ka-FSRA. I'm joined by the Consumer Education and Financial Inclusion Specialist ka-FSRA Ntomfuthi Mkhabela. Sikhuluma njenge-Investor Week. Basichazele ukuthi ingabe leli viki leli vele ngitiphi mhlambe ama-activities labatabe bawenda. Sikuvusele futhi siyabonga ukuthi ube nathi nomhla ekseni. Just briefly nje kusichazela njalo msebenzi Investor Week ukuthi uyini kahle kahle endabeni endani this entire week.
Angibonge Lulu. Kusho ukuthi iFSRA kuleli viki leli licala emhla ka6 kuya ku10 kuyo le nyanga yelweti sitabe simdzibi munye nato tonke tinhlangano letilawula tindzaba tekutshala timali emhlaba wonke eveni. Sikhulumisa phela yona indzaba yekutshala kwetimali nekubaluleka kwayo. Lokusho ukuthi lo mkhosi lona vele ugujwa mhlaba wonke minyaka yonke ngalesikhathi salenyanga yelweti kuba ngilelo sikhathi seliviki nje lesiba khona ekuthaneni kugujwe lo mkhosi. Lokusho ukuthi lo mkhosi lona kwavumelana leto tinhlangano leti lawula kutshalisa kwetimali ukuthi ngalesikhathi lesi tibe mdzibi munye ekuthenini tikhulumise tindzaba tekutshala timali nekushelana ke ligwayi ngekuthi tindlela letikahle tekutshala timali kungaba ngitiphi Lulu. Naloko ukuthi ke mhlambe lengakuveta nje ukuthi sinesicubulo lesikhona lonyaka. Lesicubulo sithi investor resilience and sustainable finance. Lokhu ngikuthi lesicubulo sikhuthata kusimama kwalabo labahlanyela timali. Nekuthi ke le timali tingahlanyelwa njani ekuthaneni phela tinganyukubeti mhlambe imvelo nekuthi lapho labahlanyela timali nabahlanyela leto timali kufanele banake lokuthi le mvelo ayinyukubedeki nekuthi imimango ithuthukiswa kanjani naloko ukuthi ke nalabo labasebenta kuleto tingabhani phela batikhanze nabo banakelekile banganyukubedeki.
So this week nje mhlambe makusiniketa sithombe sama activities endabeni ewenda and also ngiyabonana ukuthi indabeni ne-essay writing competition nalapho nje sichazele ukuthi bobani labangenako yini kahle kahle inhloso yenu nje ngayo le essay competition.
Okay, kusho ukuthi Lulu mhlambe lesitabe nje sikwenda so ithinzele indzaba ye competition vele itabe ikhona kutabe kubhalwa indzatshana ngalesihloko lesisishito lesicubulo lese investor resilience and sustainable finance. Sithi ke abangenele leyo competition leyo FSRA uma ungena ku internet yethu noma ekhasini lethu langcondo mshini lapha ku www.fsra.co.za kune link lekhona lapho lotayichafata letawubese ke siyakusita iyakulayela lokho ukuthi kude ungenele le competition kufanele mhlambe bese minyakeni lemingakhe nekuthi lenzatshana ungabhala likhasi lelinganani. Singakhuthatha nje lokuthi kulabo labatawufisa kungenela leyo competition abaqale phela bafunze ngalesicubulo lesesisivedile kuze batokhona phela kubhala leyo nzatshana. Lokunye ke sikhona ke Lulu ke naku bo tinkundla tekuchumana sikhona lapho sitawubona netinkampani letitabe tikhona noma tinkampani letilawula tindzaba tekutshala kwetimali batabe nabo bakhona bakhulumisa phela tindlela letikahle tekutshala timali naloko ukuthi ke batabe bashelana phela ligwayi nalabanye ukuthi singakwenda njani lokho ukuthi timali tihlanyeleke kahle. Naku VOC eRadweni sitabe sikhona Lulu sikhulumisa tona tindlela sifundzisa ukuthi tindlela letikahle tekutshala timali kungaba ngitiphi.
Okay, kokugcina nje le topic lababhala ngayo is why is sustainable investing important. 30 seconds nje futhi usichazele ukuthi why nikhethe lesihloko lesi.
Lesihloko lesi sisikhethile Lulu ngekuthi singilabanye nathi labalawulako tindzaba tekutshala kwetimali sifuna lokho ukuthi bantu bakhone lokho ukuthi timali tabo futhi bangatihlanyela kahle kanjani nokuthi kufanele banake ini basatshala leto timali ngoba phela siyathi ukuthi imali yakho ungatikhanza uyitshala lapho kungakafanele khona. Sijinge futhi sikhuthade naloko ukuthi uma ngabe batshala imali bafisa ukutshala imali lehhovisi abachubeke balithenze Lulu uma ngabe kukhona labafisa ukukuvisisa kahle ngaphambi kokuthi mhlambe batshale leto imali.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Mbukele sifuthi vele ukuthi FSRA kanye nje naletinye tinkampani leti kilo lehlangothi letimali tikupa i-Investor Week nemchuzelano kwele sabawusukumisile i-essay writing competition itangenelwa abantu labaneminyaka lesuka ku-16 yeku-23 years old. Ungasendela i-essay yakho to essay@fsra.co.za. Asibahlele tema yetest abesichubele nehlelo.
Eswatini Lifestyle is all about inspiration, drive, and swag. Eswatini Lifestyle is informative and fun while covering all aspects of life, be it people, places, and trends in the kingdom of Eswatini. We got you covered. The focus is on the quality of life. Eswatini Lifestyle will spark your interest. Catch Eswatini Lifestyle every Friday at 7:30 p.m. on Eswatini TV, Sibuko Semaswala.
All right, it's 34 minutes after 7. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The concerning unemployment rate is without a doubt a major reason why the economy of the Kingdom of Eswatini has been on a risk of crashing and has compelled for urgent interventions. Now, in the midst of finding and embracing crucial economic reforms, the United Nations Development Programme gave birth to what has culminated itself as a lifesaver for, let's say, thousands of Eswatini graduates, the Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program. Let's welcome UNDP's Advocacy Associate Kusile Shabang to tell us more about this important initiative. Mpele, welcome to the program. I'm saying it's an important initiative because we just came back from Sibaya and it has been a recurring conversation in the Sibaya since day one, from the King's speech to when he officially closed the Sibaya. And I think we do remember the King hailing the same program at the United Nations General Assembly, just to show how much of an important program this program is. Maybe for the benefit of the viewer, explain what the Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program is, when it started, and how many Eswatini have benefited.
No, thank you very much, Asfiso, and thank you for having us this morning. The Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program is, I think last week I called it a solution. A solution to a current problem that we have, given the current social issues that we have in the country. You've got 1.2 million people, 70% of those people are young people under the age of 35 years old. And from that, you've got youth unemployment, that's about 48%. Recently, in the past couple of weeks, we saw UNISO graduation, over 4,000 graduates came out from there. Now, when you look at that, you think and you ask yourself, how many of those young people are then absorbed into formal employment? The Eswatini Youth Empowerment is there to basically provide that platform for young people to either go into employment, formal employment, and get the experience that is required to be in that space, or they can actually take a track or route towards starting income generating projects from being trained. Now we've got two tracks. The first track is the graduate placement. It's all about placing young people in different host organizations, private sector, public enterprises in the country for a period of 6 months, where we offer them a stipend of 3,000 malangeni. So far with that track, we've been able to receive applications that are close to 3,000 young people that are showing interest in participating in this program. Suffice to say that that is not an actual figure of the young people in the country that are still looking for opportunities like these ones. But you know, with the applications, we closed them in March 31st, and from there we opened up a matching and requisition from companies, rallying companies to actually requisition these graduates from the portal using artificial intelligence in a pool where if a company X comes in and says, I'm looking for qualification and skills A, B, C, and D, they log it into the system and it goes using the artificial intelligence and comes back with that particular graduate who holds those qualifications. So far, we've been able to deploy about 200 graduates. We're planning on deploying about 100 more beginning of January, possibly now in December, going into January next year, and somewhat look into how we are continuing with that. So that's the current plan that we have now. And then we also have track 2, which is artisanal skills training. You remember a couple of months ago, we had a graduation of about 90 graduates, non-graduates who graduated from the skills training that was about 3 months, being trained on different skills, handcraft skills, plumbing, upholstery, sewing, and so on and so forth. And then after that, they received their starter kits to be able to start their income generating projects. Now, I think when we took a look back in terms of what kind of impact are we having as a project in the country, and we realized that some of these graduates have actually started their income generating projects. With the handcraft skills, there's a gentleman who currently received a tender in Tembelihle to build burglar bars, who had been trained under the program and is now using that starter kit to employ other young people and actually continue and improve their livelihoods. With the graduate placement, what we're seeing is that, you know, the graduates that are in the different host organizations are actually coming up and they're showing that we are skilled, we are ready to provide services. SEDCO currently, I think they notified us that their graduates, they are currently developing an app that is going to change the space in terms of the SME scene in the country. Now you hear those things and you're just happy about the kind of impact that we're doing in the country, because remember, we did say that when we started the project that this is a pilot project. Sort of looking at what's going to happen next, we're excited.
The ambition, I'm really interested on the ambition to reduce unemployment by 50% by the year 2030. What an ambition, Sakile. And I can just imagine, I haven't done my math, but if we're talking reducing by 50% and looking at our current alarming, by the way, record high unemployment rate, this really is a lifesaver, a solution as you put it. What are you learning so far, you know, since you started? Because the numbers that you've just talked to me about, 200 graduates, that's a really high number, especially in this current you know, climate that we're talking about. The King spoke about it, Esibayeni. We've also seen a couple of other, you know, outgoing ministers talking about it on international trips, just, you know, to certify how important this initiative is. What are you learning so far, and what are you putting into, you know, the next phases of this?
Definitely. Maybe before I answer that question, going back to the ambition part, the ambition is fueled by concerted efforts. I think you've heard me say this over and over again. We need to come together, because if we're talking about a population of 1.2 million people, with the amount of resources that we can all come together and bring to the fore, development partners, government, and also, you know, private sector and public enterprises coming together, that's where the ambition comes from. It is possible, it is doable. That is why we continue to sort of rally and advocate for more organizations and other institutions to come to the fore. What are we learning? What we are learning currently is that these young people have just been waiting for a chance. That's all it is. The amount of drive, the amount of you know, energy that they're bringing into the companies and the different institutions is showing that the only thing that they were waiting for is just a chance. And that is what is unique about the program. If you look at what recently happened with Eswatini Bank coming in and saying, you know what, we are going to take 5 graduates from your pool and we're going to place them in our institution for 2 years.
Yeah, wow.
And in that 2 years, if it happens that opportunities actually come about, we can actually hire you because you're qualified. We've got graduates that have master's degrees, PhDs, that are just waiting for a chance. I always tell them when we're sitting together and having these discussions that you and I are not the same. It's just opportunities. But right now, you have the opportunity to actually take this to the next level. The experience part, if you're looking at the National Skills Audit and what's saying, we're realizing that the National Skills Audit was saying that there's a skills mismatch. And that mismatch, when you think about it, these graduates have their qualifications, but they've even gone further to get certification in areas that are now relevant. The only thing that's left is to just get that chance and actually deploy them, and they get that experience. And the other side of this learning experience of ours is when we look at SMEs in the country, SMEs are looking at also, doubling and tripling their turnover per annum. Now, we have a resource, a human resource that is there to assist you in terms of reaching those goals. So ultimately, it's a bi-directional sort of assistance in terms of the two entities that are involved in the program. I think that is something that we're learning. The third one is concerted efforts.
Very important.
We are understanding the importance of coming together as different stakeholders and bringing in our different thoughts, our different sort of resources to come together to be able to attend to the social problem that we have. And when you think about the social problem, it somewhat filters onto other social problems that we have. So at the core of most of the issues that we have this one particular issue. And we will start seeing a domino effect if we solve this one issue. And then, we change Eswatini for the better.
You mentioned something that I really liked there, how much these people have been waiting for the opportunity. They've been asking themselves how long until opportunity meets preparation. And it's so great. I'm also hearing through the grapevine that some of the hosting organizations want to extend the period at which they are hosting these young graduates. So that's great. But we also do want to speak to Clerk to Parliament after you because, as we are still undergoing the formation of, in fact, it finished yesterday, the formation of Parliament, which is great, by the way. We do understand they are also hosting a couple of graduates.
20 graduates.
That's a big number. Let's talk to Clerk to Parliament, Mr. Benedict Klaba, after the break.
Let me tell you about my crush. Ngenzane inhliziyo yami embi kwakho njengedance.
Nkonjo yesiswati.
It is 3 in the afternoon. We are back in the living.
For men are so kind towards creation more than they even were to their own creator.
I am the greatest of this generation. They'll be calling me the girl who made poetry look cool, yo. Cool. Hello and welcome to Eswatini TV and to a brand new talk show called A Kappa with Nomgebo. And I do what I have to do because I know where I'm going. All 5 of my mothers have inspired me.
So the addiction didn't happen then. It happened again another 8 years later. But that's where it started.
Choices I made at the time were not the best choices for myself.
I understand how a person can lose their mind in terms of life experiences.
That's what it looks like, and I like that. But you know what? The journey to my success is never a straight line.
Yeah, people are on the net now, and that's where we'd like to catch them with such shows.
At 46 minutes after 7, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. We have Clerk to Parliament, Benedict Klaba, who have been very kind as Parliament to host 20 graduates in Tiane. We really applaud you as Parliament for doing that. In fact, you have taken 3 steps further ahead of everyone else in terms of, doing what's great for society. Because yesterday we were just commending ukuthi sibona bomake baba represented ku Senate na House of Assembly more than sivele sikuvotele tinkhundleni. Siyayibona iParliament, siyayibona inhlakanipho engwenyama kuloko. But these 20 graduates from the Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program, talk to me about the experience so far. How much of a great step has it been for Parliament and for the students themselves?
Yes, thank you Kusile kakhulu Sifiso Sivuseni naso sonke sive seMaswati. Kokuqala nje umuntu uvela ngadumisa ukuthi imbubo yemhlaba ya prophesy yathi ngomnyaka we-turnaround. So siyiParliament sabuka ukuthi njalo imbubo yemhlaba seyikhulume ukuthi umnyaka seyiprophesayile noma seyidisa umnyaka we-turnaround. Vele sase siyagijima siyiParliament satha siyentele turnaround in partnership with UNDP. Lengakuveta ukuthi le program is fantastic. This is the best ever program. Uma ubuka iParliament is the heartbeat of the nation. So uma iParliament ifunctiona very well, the whole country will flow. So lengakusho ukuze sithole 20 ukuthi uhulumende njalo wathi ngenxa yetimali nani walethe policy hiring freeze. So iParliament beyingasakhona ukufunction. So then when this opportunity and UNDP alveta, so sase iParliament asivele sithole 20 wema interns and they are doing a great job. Lengakuveta kakhulu esiveni ukuthi sivele sikakhulu siyasibonela abahlonishwa. Kanti bahlonishwa kusebenta kwabo kahle neParliament function kusuke kunale Parliament service lela ngaphasi. So le team lechamukile lensha, these are young people with various skills. Njengalo wathi iParliament ayidzingi ukuthi idzinga skills sinye kufuneka kube cross cutting skills. Angibekise nje khona ngisho labente bo studio bo sound engineering, kukhona labente bo law, kukhona labente ma linguistics njalo Hansard department usidzinga incumbe baka linguistics. So ngasho nje ukuthi le program is really the best ever program lekhona.
What values are they adding though to Parliament? I do hear in Zabewegutsi how they've been specialized into the different roles in Parliament. As you're talking about studio engineering, I'm reminded yesterday of the broadcast. I know that you have your own sound engineering in Parliament. Linguistics is very important in Parliament. But just talk to me about the value that they bring into Parliament.
Yes, in fact, labalethago maungabuka most of them are young people.
Right.
So they bring a lot of innovation Parliament and quite a lot of energy lesibonago yenteka eParliament. So maungayibuka iParliament solo befikile. This operator different. Uma ungakhumbula kuqala besinga broadcast even live. But bafikile bakubuka bafaka input yabo kuthi no assistant eka so. So maungabuka ne website yethu page nyalo yehlukile konke lokwenteka kuvela ukuthole live ukuthole ku website. So kukhula bakulethile eParliament, we really appreciate the support.
My question then becomes, I'm concerned for you and I'm worried for you because I listened to Sakile when he was talking to me about the duration of when they should, of how long they should be placed. How concerned that they will be leaving you guys very soon?
In fact, I can't lose this one. They're like gold by jewel for us as Parliament. So it will be very painful. After Sesentema strikes, lose. I know we see they are 6 months, but as Parliament, the Velesna proposal near the Mixaga UNDP. So at this stage, ngacela onge ema partners, even the private sector, even government, kuthi adlale irole. Ngabekisa nje kakhulu esibaye siyibonile iyouth itheleke ngedingane. Kwaba khona labakhuluma bathi akuvuswe egcina. Ngingasho mina ukuthi UNDP kufanele usomvusile egcina labekade akhona ngoba sinayo na youth. So mina lengakucela ukuthi though they get a small stipend and they are so motivated with the stipend they get. So ngacela mina companies to partner with government, to partner with UNDP so that is like le youth ibe khona la 17. Mawungacabanga ukuthi nje lo 20 wale youth kube bebangekho eParliament ngabe bentana. I'm sure labanye ngabe bangene kuma drugs, labanye ngabe bacale another lifestyle, but inyalo basherisha le knowledge. So I'll request nje onke ama partners vele ukuthi asifuni kuluza le team lesinayo. Kwesibili I'm sure kune youth learning njalo siyibonile sibayini ikhuluma letsinga ukuthi vele yosebenza skills like even sinengakhulu ama skills.
Well, Mtiane, I hope that your plea with the United Nations Development Program will be heard in terms of extending the contract for these graduates, these 20 graduates that you have. And I think most importantly, what you have just said alluded to in lobbying and engaging other private sector companies as well as other organizations to come through and assist the United, in fact, assist the country, because in as much as it is the United Development Programs Initiative, it's everyone's program if we look at how much we're benefiting as a country.
Yes, thank you very much. We are hoping forward to have more of the interns also extending for this one. Otherwise, Parliament is not the same. You can see a turnaround in Parliament. We have got a very, very vibrant Parliament because of these young people.
Thank you so much for your time. After the break, we'll speak to Miss Zona Hlope. She's a graduate intern with Right Investments. I hope I'm not butchering the company's name, but she'll speak to us in the form of a testimonial, really, extending experience yakhe under the program Beganja. It's going to be great hearing from the young voice herself. Let's go for a break.
What do you think the best part of traveling is? Is it the food, or is it the conversation, or is it the sights and sound? If you're ready to explore, we are ready to show you the best way how. We'll give you access to the best luxury getaway sites in the Kingdom of Eswatini, and of course show you vacation sites that suit your budget, because you do not need a lot of money to actually have a great time. Join us on the next adventure on Buhle Bethu, only on Eswatini TV.
Are they yours? Ungabukela ke washa umkhukhu every Sunday at 3 p.m.
Six minutes before 8, let's talk to Nomcebo Mazibuko, who is a graduate trainee under Biolab Eswatini. Tiane, no, you know, not him, Tiane, Mwelase.
Yes.
Yeah, Mwelase.
Yes.
Welcome to the program. I understand you are from a different region outside of Mbabane, but you are here through the graduate trainee program, Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program. Talk to us about where you're from, tell us about your background, what you studied, and your experience working with Biolab Eswatini, and really, you know, what Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program has done for you.
Okay, good morning, Isfiso. Vusile ba Bugele Makaya. Ligama nginomcebo Mazibuko. I was born in Stegi.
Okay.
Right after completing my high school, I went straight to Taiwan, where I did my bachelor's degree in medical laboratory sciences, and I also decided to further my studies and got a master's degree in clinical virology. So by profession, I'm a clinical virologist.
Okay.
Okay, I came back like 2 years ago, and I started the journey of job search.
Job seeking, yeah.
Yes. So it's been like, I'd say like a dark period in my life, because even though I sent those applications, I did not get any response at all.
Wow.
Yeah, like not even a rejection, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really hard, and it also takes a toll on your emotional well-being, because you get depressed. Yeah, you get depressed. You are hopeless. You are demotivated.
Right.
Yeah. So this is where UNDP and EAP comes into light. It sort of got us started on our career paths.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talk to me about that experience. How has that been working at Biolab Eswatini? I can see that. I think this is what I like about the program, is that it is right in alignment with what you studied, Biolab, and what you said you studied in Taiwan. How has this experience been like, and you know, how grateful are you to the program?
I'm super grateful for this program, because I think without it, I'll still be at home.
Right.
Yeah, So it helps us to gain experience, because when you are looking for a job, one thing that they require is experience.
Right.
But like when you are fresh from school, you don't really have experience. So it's helping us to polish up our skills. Yeah, and just to get connected in the workspace. Yeah.
They have a monthly stipend
Yes.
of I believe 3,000 in Malangeni. How does that help you, to go to work and carry out your duties at work?
It's been very helpful, because I use it for transportation and also for food. So I think without it, it would be hard to carry out any duty.
Yeah. Interesting. And then after completing the internship, what do you hope to do?
I'm still hoping to get a permanent position. It could be a hospital, university, NGO, or even the Ministry of Health. But my plan B is to pursue my PhD, just to increase my chances of getting international jobs.
Yeah. And now you have a bit of experience. It's going to be very different now. And I suppose as you apply for job posts, you do have something under experience. And I suppose that's going to be an incentive for whoever's looking to get someone employed.
Yes, definitely.
What are your parting words? This is the end of our conversation. I think you have an opportunity to look straight to that camera, and maybe talk to the United Development Program and probably your potential next employer after Biolab Eswatini.
Okay, I'd love to thank UNDP so much. I think it helped me and many of us who were at home looking for jobs. And I would also like to encourage other youth to sign up for this program, as it has helped me, and I think that it will definitely help you too. Yes.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you so much, Molase, for your time. And congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
I'm wishing you all the best on your next endeavors under Biolab, and probably anything really that is after Biolab and after the youth empowerment program. Private sector companies and other organizations continue to support these Eswatini youth empowerment programs. Sakile Shabangu did emphasize in Zawego concerted efforts will take this program into the next level and potentially really achieve this ambition of reducing youth unemployment by 50% by umnyaka wa 2030. Program lenhle kakhulu. That they have been getting from a lot of their employers. And mind you, these are people labaku permanent employment. It gets to show how much important this program is and how helpful it is to Banvula Basha Lapa Evena.